Let's roll, rolling Atlas Thug. We here to bring the truth. Jar open this podcast. We breaking through the fake news. They try to silence us, but we will be subdued. We're bearded alpha males here to save the youth. Spitting fire on the mic with the bass Christian takes. Exposing the lies, keeping the demons at bay. We ain't afraid to speak up. We won't be swayed. Jar open this podcast where the truth is laid. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas Thug. We're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. We ain't playing games, we're on a mission to awaken the masses with our intuition. Pulling out the corruption with no inhibition. Jar open this podcast, sparking a revolution. We're not afraid to stand tall in a world full of deceit. We're the voice of reason, bringing light to the street. Keeping it real, never missing a beat. Jar open this podcast where the truth meets the heat. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas Thug, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. Jar open this podcast where the truth will never cease. Join us on the journey to bring back peace. We're rolling Atlas Thug, fearless in our release. Jar open this podcast where the lies will decrease.
All right.
Welcome in.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, let me move my camera. I always do that when I have myself centered, and then I go to this view, and I'm always off to the side. What's up, everybody? Good to see you on this Saturday. We have Chris in the house with us. He's here to announce his new foundation, and we're going to get into that here in just a second. We'll let some people file in a little bit. I want to remind folks that when you do see the video, make sure you're hitting that like button. Also, consider subscribing to the channels, all that good stuff. What's up, JB, Jamie, House, Teddy P, Be good, be kind, help someone if you can. That's quite the name. What's up, Cora? It's been a while. How you doing?
Hey, I see a lot of good names in here that I know.
TNT, what's up, TNT? Yeah. Some people filing in. My thumbnail was kind of crap today. It's been a busy day. I'm surrounded by papers with notes all over them. I don't got a sick chicken. I got an injured chicken out there. She's limping around. Got foot injury on both feet, so I'm gonna have to bring her in tomorrow. I got some stuff ordered. Yeah, I got some stuff ordered for her from Amazon that's gonna be delivered tomorrow, where I can do a little surgery, little homestead surgery, and then wrap her feet up and get her back on the mend. She'll probably be living inside with us for a week or so. Hopefully not any longer than that, because
we're getting used to it.
It's a lot of work. They stink pretty quick. They stink up their little... I keep them in the kennel, and they stink it up pretty quick, so it's a lot of work keeping it clean and everything. But she's a good hen. She's a big old buff Orpington. She's cool looking. She's got actually, it's pretty neat. One of the pupils on her eyes is actually shaped like a heart. I don't know if she can see out of it or not, but she's real easy to identify because of that from the rest of the chickens in the flock. Let's see... Thomas Zet, what's up, dude? Who else we got here?
Thomas.
LOL, a marble. How you guys doing? Jamie said, I thought my closet was going to be a beast to pack. It actually won't be. That's cool. Jamie, are you using boxes to move, or are you using like Rubbermaid totes, or what are you doing? When I moved down here, we had a bunch of Rubbermaid totes, and then now I have like a stack of like 30 of them that are just all stacked together. One's fitting inside of the other one. What's up, Steve? Good to see you.
Steve. What's up, brother?
Sorry, I'm still sending out invitations to people to...
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
In.
Rhonda Lewis, how you doing? Hi from Florida. I'm in Florida too. JB says the smell of chicken poo lingers for a long time. Almost have to burn everything here. The smell.
Oh, dude. We had a thing where when I first graduated high school, my first job, my apologies.
You're good.
Go completely crazy tonight, apparently. But my first job was working in a convenience store. And we had this one dude that came in. All he did was drive a truck that went from chicken farm to chicken farm to chicken farm, and he would load up all their chicken shit into this big spreader truck, and then he'd go driving around and spread it on the fields and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You could smell him before he got into the store.
That's crazy. I believe it though.
Yeah, when I was growing up in middle of nowhere in Ohio, the fields all around us, we were surrounded by different kinds of fields, mainly cornfields and a couple bean fields. But when they sprayed that chicken shit, you knew it was there. I mean, going outside was a burden. And even if you wanted to have the windows shut, you could smell it. It would get super intense.
Well, I've been blessed. I got plenty of chickens back there, but they don't stink that often. Only when it gets like super muddy and it turns like to swampy kind of scenario. I see Marcus Young is in the house. What's up, dude? Good to see you. My young brother.
We're asked what part of Ohio, Atlas.
I was in between Kenton, Ohio and Bellefontaine, Ohio. So kind of right on the edge of Logan County and Hardin County. That was way back in, man, I'm an old man now. I graduated high school in 2014. That's when I would have left and headed for Columbus. So from like 2007 to 2014 is when I lived there.
Nice. The only thing worse than chicken is pig.
Oh, I bet.
Hey, Donnie.
Oh yeah, Caitlin Wallace, how you doing? I think I skipped you there. I was going through.
That sounds absolutely brutal.
Donnie, what's up, Donnie? What's up, gentle fucks? Donnie with the comic relief. We got a good chat. You guys are great.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun tonight.
Yep. So we got quite a few people in here already. Let's go ahead and we're gonna let Chris talk about his new foundation, and then we're gonna get into tonight's topics. We got we're gonna talk about Elon Musk versus Ashley St. Clair custody battle a little bit. I know it's not everybody's favorite topic, but it is one of the #1 trending news stories today. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit. We had this weird video that came out of one of the Israeli hostages that was released by Hamas that kissed on the head two of their captors. Really, really weird. We're gonna take a look at that and share our thoughts and opinions. Kash Patel was confirmed. He swore on the what is it, the Baghdad Javat? I don't know how to say that, instead of the Bible. Little odd thing, little odd to do in my opinion. It's pretty obvious to me that
Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. I would say it's a little odd thing to do, considering I would argue that most of Trump's MAGA base are more of a Christian kind of background, and I don't know. I mean, I get it. Everybody has their own individual whatever that they hold themselves accountable to, whether it's religion or whatever. But I don't know. That one's weird. I'm sure a lot of people kind of taken aback by that. I saw a funny meme the other day that when RFK Jr. was swearing in, he had his hand on a steak. It was obviously not real, but it was pretty funny.
10-ounce ribeye.
Yeah. It looked more like a big old porterhouse, but yeah, that was pretty funny. Let's see here. Trump has urged Elon Musk to be more aggressive, and Elon Musk has responded. So we're going to get into those two scenarios. And then Trump and Elon are looking at auditing Fort Knox, which I saw a funny meme on that one where said Fort Knox, and then it had a brick with some gold spray paint, and it was actually like a real, like mortar brick and some spray paint.
I wouldn't put him past him.
Right. The people for a long time have been questioning if the gold is really there or not. But if you watched what's that movie? Dang it, I'm ruining my joke now. If you watch that one movie with Bruce Willis, I think it was Bruce Willis. We all know that Fort Knox was robbed. Was it? What? I want to say it was a Die Hard movie, but wasn't Die Hard 1? maybe it was Die Hard 2. I don't know. Now I'm confusing myself, but we all know that Fort Knox was robbed in that movie, so by the Germans. Let's
Hey, we
see
got
here.
somebody from Sweden in the chat. Hugo, welcome in.
Hey, what's up, Hugo? Welcome in. Good to have you. TNT said they should have Geraldo open the vault.
Well, we know Geraldo's the king of, finding useless stuff that's empty after building up all that anticipation. I actually watched that live.
Oh, so did I. I think everybody in America was watching that live. They're open. What is it? The Al Capone vault?
Yeah.
Something like that. And it was empty. Man, that's crazy. Let's see here. Staying busy in the Special Olympics. Staying busy. You're part of the Special Olympics now and the head golf coach. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, well, you need to get in contact with him. You wanted to get on Special Olympics for a while.
Laurel's gonna be the ringer.
I'm not good enough anymore. I don't qualify.
Be the caddy.
And then we got this funny exchange between Donald Trump and the governor of Maine. The backlash on her has been, air quoted her because part of the backlash is questioning if she's really a she. Sometimes it's better just to remain quiet, especially when the president is talking. He's going to troll you and he's going to pick on you. And then, of course, this is a couple days old, but it's happened since we were live last time that Pam Bondi announced that the Epstein list was on her desk. So I don't know if she was trying to scan it and upload it so that we all have access or what, which I highly doubt was actually what was going on. But, I think the general consensus is, all right, now you got it, release it. Don't edit, don't redact.
Gimme.
Let us have it. And then, of course,
right.
When Trump's name is not on there, as we all anticipate and expect that his name will not be on there, the Democrats are going to claim that Pam Bondi or somebody fixed it for him. You know what I mean? So be ready for that wave of nonsense from the Democrats. They can never just take a general win for America and consensus. Like even right now, they're fighting against Doge and Elon, and they're basically putting them on the side of pro-taxing everybody. And it's just like, okay, great. You're not going to win any elections anytime soon if you take the hardcore stance that we stand with government wasteful spending and overtaxation of the American people. But, I'm for it. It's just going to help the Republicans advance further. And right now we need fewer Democrats in leadership just because they're all bought. And I'm not saying Republicans aren't bought, but I feel like all the Democrats are bought and they're in it. They're in the cult and it's hard to break out of. It's painful to break out of. So what's up, Hellhound? So yeah, Chris, tell us a little bit about your foundation. I'm gonna put it up on the screen here. So we're gonna shrink a little bit.
No problem. So this is the culmination of probably about a year and a half's work. Me and you would know him as Boats, Eric, came up with this idea. We had votes in our Discord to set up the council and our board. We had members step up that had, donated all the money for us to take care of all the legal fees and filing fees. So we've just been working on fine-tuning stuff, trying to make sure we have everything as best in order as possible for the launch. So, and we decided we're going to try and do it now. Hal says, don't talk about the council. But no, what we're working on right now, because we're not financially set to help anybody, is we want to set up a network that goes cross country, where we have people in the neighborhoods that know about the stuff that's not on websites. They know how to get a hold of certain people that you only know how to get a hold of if you live in those neighborhoods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way we're getting veterans help right away, and they're not having to go through all this red tape of, oh, well, I got to check with this, I've got to check with that. You know, we want to streamline it so that veterans who need shelter, need food, need clothes, you know, within a day or two have all access to all three of those things. Now, that being said, that's going to be a lot of volunteers. And let me emphasize something. Volunteers. Part of our bylaws is that if you work with us, you are a volunteer. None of us get paid. All of the money that gets donated goes to pay the minimal administration that we can get away with. Everybody works from home, uses their own stuff to do their stuff. And we want to try and change the culture of nonprofits, because I'm sorry, there's too many people making way too big of a profit off of trying it when they're supposed to be helping people.
Right.
So if you're
Can't think of the
interested,
examples right off the top of my head, but I know there's multiple where like less than 10% actually goes to of the money donated actually goes to the cause.
the United Way, Goodwill, the Red Cross is like that now. Yeah, it's horrible.
Right. And a lot of that money goes towards paying the people working on it and stuff like that. So I like how you're kind of set up the way your foundation is going. So I don't mean to interrupt you though.
No, you're good. You're good. Hi, Tammy. So we're hoping that by doing this, we can lead by example to, you know, kind of push back against these people and maybe get people to start shaming the ones who are doing this. I mean, I know we're not big, and I know it takes a lot when you get bigger. You know, it's a lot more administrative and stuff, just because you have so much communication, paper, and stuff like that you got to take care of. But still, I don't think it should be anywhere close to 90% of a dollar goes to that. So, and then eventually, as we grow, we would like to be able to, you know, help with if an elderly veteran gets into a pinch and they need like their furnace repaired or hot water here or something along those lines. One of the things that we're going to work on is getting a hold of the local plumbing unions in areas and talking to them and saying, hey, I know that you have guys that you need to be certified. They've got to get experience out in the field. How would you feel about working with us to give us a good deal to get it done, and we give you guys the business of, you know, to come out here and they can get their experience, to try and work with them like that. So we have a lot of really great ideas that we'd like to implement. It's just going to take time to iron it all out and get it all set up. So,
Okay.
But if you're interested in volunteering, you can email. Let me type it in here. Unfortunately, it's a
Sorry. How you doing, Tammy?
There you go. There is the email that you can email us at, and just put volunteer in the subject line, and yeah, I'll get right back to you, and we'll discuss, you know, what we expect from our volunteers. The biggest thing that we're really pushing with volunteers is we want everything done the same way. We don't want somebody coming to us and saying, hey, why is it that I got this service over here, but I moved over here now, and these guys won't do the same thing? I don't.
Chris, we didn't see that. Sorry to interrupt. We didn't see the email, by the way. Jamie mentioned it in chat. I didn't see it either.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me try it here then. Oh wait, it's trying to.
I can type it into the description of this video if you like. Or is it on the website? I did put a link to the website in the description as well if people want to check it out. Tammy says she's good. And how am I? I'm good. It's been a busy day, Tammy. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I'll just shoot you the email later then, and you can add it to the description if you want, Laurel.
Okay.
There is a thing on the website that says leave a comment or leave a review or something. You can always contact us through that as well. That goes directly to the same email that I posted. So
Okay.
Yeah. There's a picture of boats, and there's our Vice President Lori.
Cool. Cool.
So,
Click around here a little bit. See your mission statement. Okay. Cool.
something else that hasn't gotten added to the website just yet, but we're working with. We are working with the people from, and it just ran away. The Battle Buddies app.
Okay.
If you're a veteran, you can contact the Battle Buddies app, and you are talking with other fellow veterans who are trained to converse with you. You don't have to be in crisis. You could just be having a really bad day and want to talk to somebody, and you can get a hold of them. But they also have a trained psychiatrist on monitoring everybody's calls. And if they feel that somebody needs more intense conversation, they'll step in and try and get them to take the steps needed to help them out. So I actually did an interview with Donna, who is the Army vet who started the Battle Buddies app. So that's on the channel if you guys ever want to go check that out.
Okay, I muted myself. That's funny. I was sitting there talking.
Nope.
What's up, Fred? Let's
Hey,
see.
Fred. How you doing, buddy?
So let's see. What else we got here? We got your mission statement. You got your email. Is this the bridgingpathways.sasquatch@gmail.com?
That would be it. Perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to copy that and put that in my description.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing.
Let's see. Just trying to come on now. YouTube Studio's acting weird. Had to go all the way back. Okay, okay. So there we go. All right. Sometimes during the live stream, it automatically logs me out of my Google account. It didn't do that this time, but okay. And I got the email in there right underneath a link to Chris's foundation at bridgingpathwaysforabetterlife.com. All right. Save that. And so now you guys have all that information in the description. So appreciate it. Everybody that looks into that. And this is the foundation that you've been working on it for a while, but it actually just went live like this week, right?
You could go and see things, but we haven't really been going into depth with everything. We haven't been actually. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm overthinking.
No, I know you actually were working on it. I want to say a couple months ago, and they're giving you a bit of trouble about getting it started up or whatever for whatever reason. But I know you've been persistent, and this has been one of your passion project that you've been working on and focused on for a while. And so it's good to see. It's good to see it
let me rant for a minute, please.
Yeah.
So we decided that we were going to use LegalZoom to set everything up, and everything was going pretty well, except for it was taking forever for them to file our EIN. And the guy that we were banking with needed that to start our bank account. And he was like, well, we can do this quick. It's free. And I'm like, it's free? And he's like, yeah, you didn't know that? I'm like, no. I said, they're charging us like $50. No, it's free to do it yourself. He said, we'll go do it quick, and then you can talk to them about getting a refund. So that's not the problem I had. I'm just telling you that that's something that happened.
Sure.
So we get everything set up. They send me the paperwork and everything in the mail. And they have my freaking name wrong.
Oh, no.
It's right in the chat and everything. But apparently when they had me set the paperwork up for them to send in, I missed the S in Christopher.
Oh.
So all our paperwork says Christopher on it.
Oh, no.
And, I call them back and I'm like, hey, we need to get this changed. And they're like, oh, well, here, we changed it. I'll send out the new updated paperwork. And it comes out the same exact way. 3 different times we did this. Until finally they're like, oh, well, you actually have to contact the Secretary of State in your state and pay them to change it. And I said, wait, how did this even happen? I said, did you not have somebody proofread to make sure everything matched before you send it in? No, we just go by whatever's on the paper.
Oh, man.
That makes no sense. So
no discernment.
Yeah, if you're going to use, I'm just not happy with LegalZoom. So
Sure. Gotcha.
Word to the wise there.
Yeah, make sure you have your lowercase i's dotted if you want to have LegalZoom do your work, do work for you, fill out your paperwork. So yeah, interesting. So yeah, man, I really appreciate you for getting this foundation set up. Hopefully, I know veterans have a lot of issues when they come back to the States mentally and stuff like that. So I think that's awesome.
Too many fall through the cracks, man. We need to fix that.
What's up, Lindy Rig?
Jay said next week Tyler is doing an ad for LegalZoom.
If I do an ad for LegalZoom, it's gonna end up being way too long, like my first one that I did. I did one for 8 videos and it was like 2.5 minutes, and so many comments were like, bro, that ad read was so long. So I gotta get better at that. But oh, what's up, Teddy P with a $5 super chat. Be good, be kind, help someone if you can. Thank you guys for getting the word out. Yeah, man. Thanks for the $5. That's cool. Appreciate you for doing that.
Big thank you for Chris for actually getting it put together. Congratulations on that, brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I mean, there was a lot of people that worked behind the scenes and put up with my crazy ass to get it where it is now. So,
right. And just so you guys know, sorry to interrupt, but Chris does have his own YouTube channel. It's just Chris Stockum. It's spelt the same way that his name appears here on the screen, so you guys can check that out as well. He goes live usually a couple times a day.
Yep.
But
every day it's 7 and 4 usually.
Okay. 7 and 4, is that Eastern?
Yep.
Cool. But yeah, thanks again, Teddy P. That's dope of you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you working with the Special Olympics and stuff like that too. That's cool.
Teddy's a good dude. He lives about 2 hours north of me, and We've actually gotten together and met already.
Oh, cool. Nice, nice. Cool. And I want to remind folks as well that we do have a Discord. That link is down in the description, where we keep a lot of these conversations going and stuff like that. Let's see.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So let's get into this first story. Unless you had anything else you wanted to add about the foundation there, Chris?
No, sir. Thanks for letting me come on and get the word out. I appreciate you guys.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's our pleasure. And you know, if those of you guys that have been around for a while, you know, Chris comes on periodically, and this is cool to see.
We can't forget the most important part, guys. 1 like actually gives 1 Red Bull to Chris. Oh, no. 1 like will get 1 Red Bull to Chris.
I took a nap today just so I wouldn't fall asleep tonight.
I don't know if I told you this. My mom actually was concerned when she was watching live. She thought that you had unfortunately passed. That's the way that it appeared to her.
I'm just a horrible. I get up usually between 2:30 and 4, or 2:30 and 3 o'clock every morning. So
yeah, you're an early riser.
I'm usually passing out by 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
Yeah, Donnie did come up with that line, by the way.
Yeah.
Credit to Donnie for that.
Donnie said, "Stole my line."
I remember.
It makes me laugh every time. I love how we can all poke on each other and stuff like that. We have a good community around here.
Yeah.
Yep, I love being around good people.
Yep. Well, appreciate that. So let's get into this first one. Elon Musk versus Ashley St. Clair custody battle, and this actually made the Daily Mail. I always say the Daily Mail, but it's Daily Mail, right? And so Elon Musk's shocking message to baby mama Ashley St. Clair revealed. Text messages between Elon Musk and his new baby mama Ashley St. Clair have been revealed after the MAGA influencer filed a lawsuit against the Doge chief. St. Clair 26 filed a petition in New York on Friday asking for total custody of her son, who goes by RSC in the court documents, and for Musk, 53, to take a paternity test. So as part of the exhibits for the paternity petition, the conservative firebrand shared a picture of Musk holding her son, who was born in September of last year. Alleged text messages from after the child's birth were also added to the suit, which included one from the day the baby was born. St. Clair had sent Musk a picture of her clutching the newborn in the delivery room. All well, Musk replied, to which she responded, "He is perfect." Musk replied, "I look forward to seeing you and him this weekend." In another, St. Clair sent him a selfie of her and a friend, to which Musk replied, "Hi, cutie." Then she texted him back saying, "Hi, see you soon." Tesla boss and first buddy followed up with this shocking reply, "I want to knock you up again." Nobody's ever claimed that Elon Musk isn't awkward, right? We have some pictures there.
Is he bird Amish?
It's pretty funny. Let's see here. Other messages show Musk talking about a credible death threat on his life, saying he was number 2 after Trump for assassination, which I think we all pretty much agree with that. But let's look into what else we have here, because we had a couple of notable things. Oh wait, let's see this real quick.
Yeah, I mean, Ashley St. Clair, right, versus Elon Musk. Kind of funny. We saw the beginning of it. There's a lot about this story that's just fishy. I'll say that. Not in terms of what had happened, but kind of maybe the smaller details as well that surrounds it. And we have somebody, Isabella Moody, who actually Elon Musk replied to a couple hours ago, because Isabella Moody shared messages that she had with Ashley St. Clair from years previous, I believe October 2023 or May 2023. It says right there on screen. And she's kind of siding with Laura Loomer, who both were initially going after her, essentially in the same frame that what Steve Splenda said a bit earlier, which is it seems that she's another one of these fake conservative e-girl gold digging hoes, and I tend to agree with that. I think the story here has a bunch of different takes from it too. I think ultimately though, it seems based on these messages now it seems that this was kind of a planned out thing by Ashley St. Clair. Whether she had planned the entire thing from getting full custody to just entrapment, I think that's what people call it nowadays, get this rich guy pregnant so he's got to pay me, or if it was just her idea to ensure that she could get a child from Musk. Either which way, whether she wanted him involved or not really too sure about that. But the messages are kind of wild, being shared all over. But I guess some of the takes that I heard, recently from like the dissident right also speak about not only just like how this is kind of a large shot heard around the world in terms of like the red pill and the dating economy right now, and kind of very exemplary of like what young men and the sexist men, the incel men are kind of looking at, and the disparticipation there. But also just the unfortunate nature of everything involved here, from like the lying from Ashley St. Clair, forgive me, to the whole, I wanted this to be private, yada yada, to then seeing what's going on here. It's like that clearly was always a joke trying to be spun up for emotional appeal. But the big take, I think, in my opinion, is ultimately, let's send women back to the 1800s. This is like, it's a very, what's the right word? Depressing thing to look at, I think, as a young male, to see that like this is going to be playing out. Also depressing to see, like, again, if Elon Musk can't get out of this with all the information coming out that like she did this on purpose, and who knows to see what we'll get with that. But paying child support, it kind of again repeats that notion of women with hypergamy and women kind of dating up, the fact that physical attraction is seemingly kind of not as nearly as much as a priority as it once used to be, and rather it just matters how much money one has, the consumerism, the materialism aspect of it too. And so if women are willing to forego a lot of other things just because a man can give you a lot of money, it doesn't bode well for restoring the nuclear family. And I always say that when I talk about the provision for what we want for our people, but what you want for your children, what you want for the future. And this isn't a future I want to be a part of, where we, people congratulate, like, the different Candace Owens and all the people who were in the conservative movement, even the Layla Rose, the Pro-Life Foundation lady, all of these major conservative influencers congratulating St. Clair on what seemingly is a very anti-nuclear family kind of position. I mean, he was never going to be in this kid's life. Elon Musk has always been a liberal. I'm not saying he's trying to be a fake conservative, but she definitely is. But you look in the big picture too. I mean, you look at the fact of the testimony we have from one of his sons, now been trans turned daughter. I mean, that son went on to say things of, Elon was barely around 10% of the time. He actually hates Elon for a lot of the reasons, but felt like he was abandoned because of these reasons. And no part of that, I believe, should be congratulated whatsoever. This is very anti-nuclear family. And if we want to get back to restoring the kind of stabilizing factor that makes societies operate, we have to move back to getting into shaming these actions in which cause this kind of level of instability, and then rooting and getting behind the actions that get regular guys with regular girls, and we don't have such a kind of disparity between those groups. But I think there's some of the major takeaways from this so far.
Muted again. I always mute myself when I take a drink because there's ice in the cup. I feel like it's going to be loud in the mic. Yeah, I've been watching chat here. TNT says he has so many kids, his child support could be a class action lawsuit. That's pretty funny.
So Let me explain my comment earlier about asking if he's Amish. If you're not familiar with the Amish way of life, now, first off, it would just be between a man and a wife. It wouldn't be, a bunch of different baby mamas, first off. But here, the doctors actually have to make sure that there is somebody in the room at all times, because if not, an Amish man will jump on his wife right after she gives birth, because that's when she's most fertile.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know that.
Yep.
The well, being back, I was around a lot of Amish growing up too. Their families were always very, very, very much larger than your typical American family. But a lot of that does go back to the fact that they don't rely on the kind of modern conveniences of technology. Therefore, having sons and daughters actually makes up for a lot of that. Having more hands to go around, a larger family generally is a very linear pathway to prosperity in the Amish community. They're very self-sustainable in that. So having more of them allows for them to do much bigger things, have tighter knit communities and that such too. Whether it is, they're doing they're doing roofing services and the like, typical kind of services that Amish families pick up on. But that's what we don't have. We have like the opposite. The average American family is this kind of the weight of money hangs over the average American family. The thought of having children just brings up, for most people, kind of like the nightmarish prospects of not having enough money. Now, you also get two different kinds of verbiage depending on who you talk to. Some parents will sit there and say, hey, you're never going to have enough money. You're never going to be prepared. You just got to do it. If you want the kids, you just got to take on that burden and do it. Whereas some people take the negative stance and they just say, well, you got to make sure you're entirely, completely set before you decide to have children. And that's why you do see a lot of families only having 1, 2 children, and 3 at most. I think we're getting very far away from the families that used to have 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. And then the next generation would have the same thing too.
Right.
So it's a very kind of antinatalist kind of, peripheral here.
It's funny. That reminds me of the opening scenes of that movie Idiocracy, where it has like the two intelligent people, like the husband and wife, and they're like trying to prep their life and make sure that everything's in line, their jobs, their house, everything like that before they start having kids. And meanwhile, like, what's his name, Cletus or Clavon, or I can't remember the guy's name. He's out here just knocking up all the cheerleaders after the football games, and he has like, it shows his family tree, and it's like hundreds and hundreds of people. And meanwhile, the two sophisticated people were like trying to have a kid, couldn't have a kid. Then the husband dies trying to service himself for an artificial insemination, and then so it goes from 2 in their family tree down to 1, and it's just really funny. It's like some people just let her rip, and other people are prepping, and the next thing you know, they're 40 years old, and
right, and then it's never going to happen.
Yeah,
we did get clarity though. This actually was a romantic relationship that brought about the child, so it was not IVF. I read a bit into what had been leaked and what had been posted and attached with the legal documents. Molly Yiannopoulos has been posting those all over the timeline, but I did read into it a little bit. It was a romantic relationship conceived around January of 2024.
Interesting. By the way, what's up, Michael? I saw Michael and a couple other new people joined the chat there. Michael, you're in our Discord, right? You're the same Michael in the Discord, right? From Australia. I've been wondering for weeks if you're the same one. You're the same guy, but I think you are. But you mentioned Isabella Moody, and she made this post here, and she said, "I agree with Laura Loomer. I wasn't going to post these, but now that Ashley St. Clair has leaked her private social media messages with Elon Musk after lying and saying she wanted privacy, here's more evidence Ashley planned to baby trap Elon. She sent me these text messages in May of 2023 when she first met Elon and started sleeping with him. She said, I need his rocket babies, and I need a caption to seduce Elon Musk in May of 2023. See dates below. She doesn't care about privacy. She planned to seduce him by her own admission, and now she's leaking his texts. So I'm leaking her text to me now because, as Laura Loomer said below, we need to condemn promiscuous gold diggers. And so here's one of the texts from Ashley St. Clair. She said, Elon followed me. I need his rocket babies. Oh my God, no way. That's so awesome. I'm reading like girl texts back to each other, so I feel weird. Oh
my God, no way.
He is 10,000% saw my moon landing tweet. Look, I'll take one for the team. Seduce Elon and get in a rocket to see what's up. So anyways, they had a text exchange. And you know, it is what it is. But you know, what's funny is Isabella Moody is actually somebody I've been trying to get on the show. So maybe one of these days. But
yeah, when Elon actually responded to this tweet in particular, if you go down a bit, you should see that Elon responded to it, which obviously is him highlighting it a good bit more.
Oh yeah, he
So
said
that's going to
whoa.
bring a lot of attention and boost it out too.
Yeah, he came in here and said whoa.
Which
Did
he
he
did
say
with the previous one from Milo.
so? He's
Funny
seeing
enough, he's highlighting these, but he won't respond to Ashley St. Clair or any of his other baby mothers. It's actually kind of funny.
CJ Pearson, Bryson, Hodge twins, Valentina Gomez. Dang.
Yeah. Well, and I think the bigger thing here too, outside of the obvious kind of implications of, everyday guys seeing this and just being like, Lord have mercy, is the main aspect, which is, never e-girls, not even once. This is really the kind of way that I see most of them playing out. Now, I think Isabella Moody's a slight exception. She does a lot of things on air with her husband. It's pretty rare in this industry. Most often, if you do see a girl who's commentating or doing anything in the news, her husband's nowhere to be found. You have no idea what he looks like, and they rarely talk about him, if she even has one.
Right.
It's a lot of fakeness. In fact, I think the large portion of the conservative movement is fake. I'm actually going to move so far right that I really have a hard time seeing a difference between Democrats and Republicans. But you have multiple messages and tweets from Ashley St. Clair, which is like, wow, the worst thing we could ever do is have single motherhood. That's really destroying society. She's got other posts talking about all of these very kind of pro-family tenets, but like here we are now in this situation, and like in no way, shape, or form do you think, and even you and I, would you expect that she believes in her right mind that Elon Musk, after all these other incidents, is going to marry Ashley St. Clair? And then we see the messages too, and it's clear that there was never any kind of intention there. He was clearly very upfront about just wanting to have children with her. No sense in the marriage there too. And now you think, well, you want the privacy too. Well, if you plan to have a child, and especially from a couple of years out too, with the richest man in the world, I mean, like, that goes without saying. Like, you're not going to have privacy when it comes to that. He's one of the most, not only just richest men in the world, but one of like the most popular men in the world. And he owns a social media website too. So it's like you're always going to be in the public purview.
Right.
And so I think take this as a lesson for anyone who's not gotten this lesson through their head now. The majority, and I would go to say 90 to 95, I don't know, actually, it's probably 98 to 99% of all female pundits, especially those in the conservative movement, are grifting, they're lying, and they're doing everything they possibly can for money and attention.
Right. And it's disappointing to find out how many people are actually lying for the attention and for the money. Right. I mean, these people are becoming, famous within the spheres, and it's unfortunate because there's people that are more genuine. Like, I don't even know how to even begin how to like put on a fake persona. If I knew how, I would have a left-wing channel that you guys wouldn't even know about. Right. And maybe I do. No, but I don't really. But I just know people in my circle that literally they do 3-to-1 views per video, just because the left clicks everything. The cult runs deep. And so it's just it's unfortunate when we find out that these folks that have been guests on our our favorite shows and favorite podcasts and stuff like that turn out to be, just kind of fake and grifting or whatever. But we have this right here from Laura Loomer that mentioned that Ashley St. Clair unfollowed me. Good. I wasn't going to say anything, but now that there are more details coming out, I see she lied directly to my face about X while my account was censored for over a month. When I was unverified and demonetized on X, I asked her to connect me with someone from X, and I mentioned how she had a connection with Elon and that maybe she would listen to her, or maybe he would listen to her. She told me I've never spoken with Elon on the phone and only had access to him via DM since he follows me. So basically, she calls her out for being a liar and questions why lie to people and stuff like that. Well, she just didn't want to do it, and instead of saying no, she came up with an excuse, apparently.
And sadly, the worst part is that people in our sphere are so trying to find people to cling to grow the sphere, that they want to welcome everybody to come in that says, oh well, I'm one of you now.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I was just going to say too, this is another aspect that this should be highlighted as well. I don't remember if it was the quartering who highlighted this, but somebody did, and I can't remember who it was, so forgive me. Maybe someone can correct me. That highlighted the fact that she had messaging between a admin on X regarding the fact that after Milo, I think, had initially highlighted and exposed her other accounts on X she used to operate under, she had sent a message in particular to somebody who had access to controls on X to censor and then lift this information, shadow ban it, hide it. So that goes to say too, X also has the problem of nepotism, the same way that any kind of social media platform with anyone who has connections would too. So it's not entirely a free speech app. It showed that if you're in the in group with Elon in this X sphere, you can send a message to somebody right away, and they'll get things taken down that you asked for them to take down. Same way, that's why Laura Loomer's highlighting it too, because Laura Loomer recently came from a bout of being censored and demonetized off of X for having an opinion against Elon. So we're seeing, if not worse, examples of this kind of censorship that sways in one direction. Now, ultimately, it seems that it's heavily political, but it's also more so the fact that it revolves around Elon's ego. Those who kind of parade around and coordinate to go against Elon in large groups, those are the ones who will be silenced the most. Now, because Elon talks about political things, but I think the main tick there that gets somebody kind of their check removed or demonetized is going directly at Elon. Either whether you make him feel stupid or otherwise, that seems to be the number one thing that gets people kind of bopped on the platform. And I think that's unfortunate too, because we kind of went from this large discussion around the H-1B stuff that we saw the censorship occur. That discussion got shelved, but now here we are a bit later, and maybe in the background noise of what's happening with this Ashley St. Clair thing, now it's kind of proven. It's like, yeah, this was never really going to be a free speech app. We're kind of reneging on the promise that we gave you guys, which was as long as it's legal, it'll be allowed. Now it's clear if you're having sex with Elon Musk, well, here you go. Here's a number. Text this guy. Any post you don't like, send it to me. We'll get it lifted off the platform. I mean, it's just we're at this point where it's really hard to trust these people. I definitely don't have it since the H-1B discussion. Yeah, he's doing a lot of good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but in no way, shape, or form does that mean that I would trust him on a personal level. And I don't think that for myself and main core conservative Christian principles align with Elon whatsoever. And I think we're getting example after example of that occurring over time.
Yeah. Man, it's kind of a shame that some of these folks are, well, like when it comes to X, in the free speech platform type stuff, there's a lot of people that got their accounts banned during the mass banning that never got their accounts back. So to your point that it's not like this ultimate free speech bastion, which, some of the smaller accounts aren't as important, but they should be. They brought back Donald Trump, they brought back Alex Jones and Milo and some of these other folks who are popular, but that also helps the platform. But if you're just Joe Schmo, they didn't really prioritize bringing those type of people back. So there's a lot of people out there with X accounts that would like to use it, but their accounts are still banned and they're using the same email on everything else. So it's, one of those things that, yeah.
Well, do you remember when you had talked about how is she making those payments, her monthly rent payments for whatever that penthouse was that she's been in for some time now?
Right. Wasn't it like $50,000 a month? I think she was living in something like that. $50,000 a month.
It's like $15,000 a month. And as House highlights here, Ashley St. Clair was being managed by PR strategist Brian Glick. I think that's how you say it.
Glick.
Who made a little over $500,000 from an Israeli security firm. They made a connection, I believe it was on the Backlash that I was listening to, about the similarities here between Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton. When Bill Clinton wouldn't do what they wanted, they leaked, and people might not know this, and so shocker to anyone who doesn't know this, Monica Lewinsky was a Mossad, what would you call it, like a honeypot. She was a Mossad agent. And so once Bill Clinton didn't do what they wanted, that's when they dropped the files and they immediately leaked everywhere. Monica Lewinsky having sexual relations with Bill Clinton. So it's kind of a parallel here where this seems a bit, it's a bit far-fetched to say that Ashley St. Clair's a Mossad agent. But the similarities there that, Elon didn't do what she wanted, and then she tried using every ounce of power that she's got right now in the news feed. And then here she goes instantly right to, throwing it all out there on Elon Musk, trying to paint him in a bad light. I think we had spoken earlier, right? Now the Democrats are going to use this ultimately as even more kind of fodder to throw at Elon Musk, even from a more basic red versus blue sense.
Right. What do you think, Chris?
I think it's screwed up no matter which way you look at it. You know what I mean? Almost makes you feel like you're back in high school with all the drama and the little cliques of how people used to hang out with each other and spat with each other and all that stuff,
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. TNT Cycles says she wasn't Mossad. I went to school with her. Monica was a hoe, but not Mossad.
That's funny. But no, you should look up the Jonathan Pollard spy, American Spy, in relation to Israel and Mossad. That all is like stuff that's very confirmed and proven and known.
Interesting.
Ian Carroll does a lot of deep dives on that stuff too, with Monica Lewinsky in the release there.
Wow, that's crazy. So they went to read together. Interesting. I didn't go to school with anybody. You know what though? Dr. Phil did. Well, I don't think he did actually. I think that was just a rumor. I didn't have nobody famous at my school.
I have a couple people, but they were sports people.
Ah,
Actually, one of them you would know.
who's that?
Matt Nagy.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
graduated with him. I graduated high school with him.
Oh, okay. Chiefs.
He was the
offensive
Bears coach for a
coordinator.
while, right?
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
offensive coordinator now for the Chiefs.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he still have a job in the NFL.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll always have a job with Andy Reid. He started with Andy as a quarterbacks coach in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Michael's venting. He said, "Forgive me, but I need to vent." Another thing is, why the F can't we perfect any products, like cell phones and vehicles intentionally designed to fail after a certain point? Yeah, I think that's mainly. I know they do that with vacuums. They don't want you to buy a vacuum that actually lasts for a while.
That's planned obsolescence.
House Leotardo says my aunt went to high school with the Unabomber.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. What was his name? It's like a Russian name, wasn't it?
Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah, Kaczynski.
Yeah, that's it.
It's funny. I had a guy in my school that they called the Unabomber. It was just a dude. He got unfortunately nicknamed the Unabomber.
It's funny.
We had a substitute teacher that looked like David Koresh.
Ah. Fix Bomber went to school with Matt Hamill, the deaf UFC fighter, and Erin Hamlin, a female Olympic loser. Dated her for 2 years. That's cool. Yeah, I know who Matt Hamill is. That's cool. That's cool. So, anyways, let's move on from this topic here. Let's scooch over to this odd story. The Israeli hostage who let me put on the screen. This is weird. The Israeli hostage kisses Hamas fighters in the Gaza exchange, right? So he's an Israel hostage that was kidnapped by Hamas on October 7th. He's been there for 500 something days, I believe. And this is the dude being released. I'm gonna mute that. I don't know what they're saying, but he's smiling, giving a thumbs up. He kisses two of his captors. There's a weird drone hovering around in their face.
Stockholm syndrome.
Is it Stockholm syndrome, or I don't know. I mean, that could simply be described as Stockholm syndrome, but it's super weird. not only does the guy not look like he's been held captive, right? I mean, he looks healthy, he's smiling. He doesn't have any bruises or anything like that. And I just can't help but wonder, you know, you got to take some of this stuff with like a grain of salt. Here's a zoomed out view of it. I'm sorry, let me mute that. And they're holding these like gift bags and some type of documentation in a folder, and it's just it's super weird. He's like waving like Forrest Gump.
Are we putting our foil hats on today?
Well, I don't know what to make of it.
It depends on what foil hat I'm putting on.
You
What do
know,
you think about this, Chris?
Yeah, go for it.
It does seem weird. Sorry, but the last thing I'm going to do is kiss the guy who's held me captive for the last year and a half.
Right.
You know, kick him in the balls comes to mind. Throw him off the stage, that sort of thing.
Run away.
But,
something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I mean, are they paying him to be like trying to push this whole like attitude of, hey, I'm free, I'm happy, so I'm so happy that I can, you know, be okay with these guys and what they did to me for the last year and a half. It is a bad look in my opinion.
Right. Tix
Yeah.
Bomber says, "Here's your torture camp graduation plaque and a goodie bag."
Right?
I mean, it's just so
Put your
weird.
handcuffs in there for you to keep and take home with you.
Well, you think about this, like this dude was taken captive on a day where Hamas ambushed. I mean, theoretically, that was the day that he was taken captive, right? On a day that Hamas ambushed a concert, brutally eliminated, sexually assaulted multiple people. And this guy had to have seen that, has to have been aware of everything that has happened. I get it's been almost 2 years or whatever, but I think I would still be bitter. You know what I mean? He's acting like he didn't know anybody that was affected, like died, anything in this type of scenario. It's just, I don't know. Even the guy in the middle right here, it looks like he's smiling right now. It's just off. Or was he the one that kissed him? Okay, that's the same guy. All right, I thought it was this dude. But
Well,
everything's fog of war. Everything's propaganda. The news that's coming out of that region is all either controlled by one side or the other. And you just gotta take. I know the way he like.
What the heck are they doing?
it's
It's
super,
like they're
super gay.
Super gay.
well, not just that, but they act like they're on like some kind of game show and they just won the biggest prize they could.
Yeah, well, here's what I would say too. So here, I actually looked into this a bit more. The
Yeah, I had
IDF
never heard of this
themselves,
until I read it in the outline. I'm flabbergasted.
well, the crazy thing is the IDF themselves. That guy's name is Omer, O-M-E-R, Omer Kavan or something like that.
Okay.
The IDF actually didn't post this video, but the IDF posted later on him reuniting with his parents, and his parents wearing nice big, Stars of David with Israel flag T-shirts, so on and such.
I think
you
that's
can find
down
that
here.
if you scroll down a bit. Yeah, you can find Omer Wenkert. So Israel themselves even posted that this is like a real guy. But what they didn't post was they didn't post that video, obviously. They wanted to just post this one. So to me, if we were to take the position of, oh, it's propaganda from Hamas, well, then you would expect the IDF to have something ahead of that, right? They'd say, actually, this guy, we don't know who this guy is. He's got nobody here. But when the IDF themselves post a multi-viewed video here or I was about to say multi-million, but a very, a viral video themselves of him reuniting with his parents from the Israeli Defense Forces own social media account, that makes me think that it's actually not propaganda. It makes me think that what in fact is the propaganda is the fact of how much they spew up saying how Hamas treats their own hostages. because it's not. It's what we get here in America is the nonstop. Hamas is like animals. They treat their people like dogs. They do all this. But then you see a guy who was in captivity for 505 days kiss his captor on the forehead.
Right.
And then IDF doesn't show that part. We still have the video though. But they show him reading his parents because they want to say, hey, it's a good thing we got our hostage home.
Right.
It makes me think that, in fact, there's probably more truth to the idea that Hamas does not treat their hostages like Israel would like us to believe. And that is, in fact, the propaganda.
Right.
And you know, and you don't want to get too far, but I'll just keep it short as well.
Sure.
It wasn't too long ago when we got information. I believe it was about a month ago. Ian Carroll posted a video about it, but I think he didn't retract it, but it's like it got buried. We got news that they had confirmation that I think it was 28 different Apache helicopters actually entirely unloaded all their ammunition on October 7th. There's a good bit of idea there that they actually, with not only what we got from the early initial field, which was that they allowed a portion of October 7th to happen because they wanted the big false flag event to occur. Not that it was false flag entirely, but they wanted to be able to play it up as much as they could.
Like maybe they
but
knew it was coming and allowed it or something like that.
Right. And secondly, that they fired on their own people to increase the blood that was shed that day. So again, but I think the overbearing thing here too is it is fog of war. It's been nonstop propaganda by, well, I would largely say one side. It's not like there's that much pro-Hamas anything here in the States besides what we saw at the college campuses, let alone, it's very rare to go onto a TV network and see like people, but outside of Jackson Hinkle, say things like, go Hezbollah or go Hamas. It's very, very, I think, one-sided here too. But I just thought it was overall very, very gay. It seemed extremely homosexual that the guy would do something like that, and he's gonna get lip wrist too. But just overall kind of a chink in the armor of the narrative we got here.
Right.
Since you bring that up, you do realize that all this gender theory shit was started by a Jewish scientist, right?
Hirschfeld. Yep. And you know where that occurred?
I do know it was the twins, the one that they botched the circumcision, so they made him a girl, or that was the whole thing. Was they raised him as a girl?
No, yeah, that was so that wasn't the first one, but that was way down the line, and that was in Canada, I believe, the one you're talking about, where when they botched the circumcision, that when he finally had to realize what had happened, he did ultimately unalive himself. Not too long after that.
Amanda says, "What about the mother and 2 children?" Yeah, that was definitely sad.
I'm sorry, but this dude has not been held hostage for almost 2 years.
They fed his ass too good, if that's the case.
That's what I'm saying. He's way too healthy looking. He's like the healthiest. I mean, I'm sure Brittany Griner looked worse than that
she looked worse before she went to Russia, though.
Yeah, when she came back from Russian jail. I mean, I'm not buying it. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. This is just crazy to me.
Well, do you remember when Ben Shapiro was caught out, or like in a couple of days following the October 7th thing, about all of the beheaded babies was an entire lie? Never had any confirmation on that. And in fact, I believe the rapes were also largely greatly exaggerated, and I don't think that they could. I don't even know if they were able to confirm any of them at all.
Right.
Like, I can't remember what they were saying. It was like the 40s.
I mean, that's a good point, TNT. For all we know, he was 320 pounds before.
Right.
But the thing about this that my mind goes to is just it's probably a month ago. A CNN reporter went into a jail cell, and I don't know, was it a Hamas jail cell or and I know you guys saw this video where they go in, they have a camera crew. There's a woman from CNN, I believe, or maybe it was MSNBC, and they're freeing this dude that has been held a hostage for a long time. He's laying there on the ground. He stands up, and then he's just like fine. And supposedly this dude had been held hostage for a long time. Everybody, like the general consensus was that this is all 100% staged. That was Serbia. Okay. Thank you, Amanda.
Yes, Syria. It was Syria.
Was it
when
Syria?
when the
Syria.
Assad regime fell, and that
Syria.
guy like had supposedly been in there for days in the darkness, and then he immediately goes outside, looks freshly
You can
trimmed.
see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at everything. He looked like directly at the sun. Like none of it made sense. There were way too many
Right.
chinks in the armor again there.
Right. So that's why I think of that's what this like signals to me is it's the same thing. And thank you for that, Amanda, for letting me know. I couldn't put two and two together there. I just remembered the video.
Yeah. Never mind. Six already took care of it. I was going to address Steve because Steve was like thinking that he was blocked by people or something because he couldn't see Worrell's chat.
Yeah, Steve asked, why am I not seeing everyone's chats? Am I blocked by folks? No, it's because Atlas and I are both broadcasting the show to our own channels individually. And so you're on Atlas's channel. We need to figure out a way where we can incorporate both chats together, like on screen. But right now, StreamYard doesn't. I mean, it's unfortunate because the chat is great. I try to put the most relevant stuff on screen so folks in the other chat can know kind of what's going on and being said and stuff like that. But right now, haven't been able to figure out a way to incorporate both chats together on screen in StreamYard, unfortunately. So yeah, you're not blocked by anybody or anything like that. But said, "Oh, I'm retarded." No, you're good, dude. Some people will keep both, like they'll have like two phones, or they'll keep both shows up or whatever, so you can see both. But
did Donnie just call me retarded?
Did he? I don't see it. I missed it.
Steve said,
Chris.
"Oh, I'm
Chris."
Yeah.
LOL. Oh, that's funny.
Hey,
that's funny.
I can take it, guys. You can throw it out. I'm good. I'll laugh with you.
Yeah. Nobody's being mean. It's all good fun. But TNT says he could be a collaborator. Wouldn't be the first time. Yeah, I mean that's just what I wondered with. It's like Hamas maybe wants to send us the message that this dude is. Donnie said World's chat's too friendly for my taste. That's funny. We're nice over here. But maybe Hamas wanted to send the signal like to counter the propaganda that they're savage beasts. And like, here, look, we're going to release this dude and look how healthy he is. And he's going to kiss us on the head to make us, look like we're actually the good guys and that he doesn't hate us for having held him hostage for almost 2 years. It's laughable, but people buy it. People are sheep sometimes.
Listen,
okay, Donnie.
I try to everybody who's in my chat, I did try to get World to watch a little bit of that Dan Bilzerian podcast with the Hodge twins.
I'll watch it. I actually saw it come across my feed like yesterday. Today, I just been so terrible with time. I mismanaged my time so bad. Like, I got up when my alarm went off at least, but just from the second I got up, like the dogs ran out of the yard. So then I was looking for them. I got the injured chicken that I had to check on. Next thing I know, it's like 2:00 in the afternoon. I've been playing a phone app video game for a little while. And I'm just like, what am I doing? And then for those that follow the channel, I was able to finally get a video posted about an hour before we went live, which is not ideal. But so make sure you go check that out after the show. It's actually a really good interview. Not an interview. It's a debate of Tim Pool and one of his co-hosts over the concept that we hear from the left all the time about tax the billionaires fairly. They don't pay their fair share. You hear that all the time. And Tim Pool basically argues back and forth with him over that concept. And I think a lot of people on the right understand that billionaires do actually pay their fair share. But Tim Pool, and that's because we're all working, we're all paying taxes, we're not living in our parents' basements. You know what I mean? But I think that Tim Pool, he gets pissed off, which is always fun. But it was a good learning lesson, kind of to figure out to see kind of the ins and outs and how like for example, the guy kept saying, well, Jeff Bezos is a billionaire, whatever, but he's only paying taxes for $80,000 that he paid himself, and he's like he should be paying taxes on his assets and his total wealth and whatever. And Tim Pool explains why not, and I give a nice example there about if his plan was working, worked the way that it did, it would essentially strip people's wealth, whether they own land or stock. Eventually, they would have to sell portions of what they own in order to pay their taxes on it if they're being taxed on their total wealth, right? So you can only it just doesn't make sense because essentially everybody ends up at zero. But anyways, check that video out when we're done being live if you haven't watched it already. I saw that it was either Tix Bomber or House mentioned it earlier, actually. So it's a good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. I'll outsource this to my guys. House or Donnie definitely helped me out here. For maybe a good intro documentary to go a bit deeper if people wanted to know just how deep the propaganda runs in this Middle East conflict. The first kind of movie that comes to mind is one that was made recently by Stu Peters. It's called Occupied. Is there a better one that someone could have a starting point with to at least open their eyes to what's going on there? Definitely please comment that to me. It's the only one that's coming to mind right now, but I feel like Ian Carroll had one that I watched not too long ago from somebody, like the American, what's it called? The American Freedom Project might have made one too. I just think for this conflict in particular, the attachments it has on America as a whole, and the dictation it has in terms of the lobbying as well that occurs there as well. It's extremely eye-opening to just see how deep it runs and why it is so important to so many politicians, why it seems like they either do take one side or another with this conflict. Ultimately, that's why you see Trump and Elon and JD Vance putting the yarmulke on and touching the wall, or you see the squad who's on the opposite side. But yeah, Donnie said Fall of Cabal is a good start too. So Occupied by Stu Peters, and then go to watch Fall of Cabal as well. The stuff runs extremely deep, and it has a lot more kind of play on American politics than you probably would, understand right now.
Thank you for that. Bobcat posted. What's up, Bobcat? Good to see you there, buddy. Haven't seen you in the Discord for a while, but he said I identify as a 250-year-old. Give me money. Making a joke about the Social Security bracket that we I'm sure I assume that's what he's joking about, that we played on the last show. Let's see here.
Just get rid of taxes.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Because get rid of the old federal taxes and not worried about getting a $5,000 check or some dividend out of percentage out of what Doge is able to save us or anything like that. Just tax me properly in the first place, which is zero taxes at all. I'm all about Trump's new tariff rule, tariff laws. I'm going to match percentage-wise tariffs with other countries. And if they do have to tax us federally, which they'll never give that up, let's just be real.
Right.
Spend properly. You know what I mean? Spend it properly and be transparent. Pass your audits. You know what I mean? And hold yourself to the same standard that the IRS holds every American to. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. And what's up, Lark Bark? I think I saw you earlier, but I forgot to say what's up. He said I just made some spaghetti, so I identify myself as a meatball.
Oh yes, I just saw that house at Balfour Declaration. Yeah, that's a good place to get started too. That occurred towards the end of World War I. Good idea of what slowly built up to the PWC, which is the post-war consensus, just kind of acronym there too. And then Donnybrook with the Sex and Circumcision by Eric Klopper. That was one of the very first things I actually saw a few years ago, or maybe probably 2.5 years ago at this point. Extremely eye-opening, but it is a bit On the non-family friendly side, because it does revolve around circumcision entirely. But if you're interested in kind of the history of that and the context there too, Eric Klopper does a really good job breaking it down.
Yeah, that's scary. I don't think I want to read that one.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
I prefer to think of it like the Mel Brooks thing from Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Which one? Oh yeah, yeah. It's like I go around and I do circumcisions. It's like, oh, what's that? It's the hottest new thing. Oh, I want me one. He's like, I'll take two. He puts the carrot through the little guillotine thing. Nip the tip, and everybody's like, "Oh no!" They all start walking away. Dave Chappelle goes, "Oh, I already got me one of those." I love that movie.
Give me back my foreskin.
They all wanted the sacrificial wine.
Yeah. Oh man, that actually reminds me because it's something I didn't put in the outline. I wish I would remember to do this. This is also just a fair warning. It's like this isn't like graphic by any means, but it might make your stomach jump a little bit. I was listening to two ladies, and I'm not sure what organization they were with. They're doing an interview in regards to the process that I guess has been kind of medically given in context for women who are on certain types of birth control. It's so disgusting. But it is like these contraceptives that may have the result of which an embryo may be implanted at some point. And then you kind of have like a larger, like a bit of like a period, I guess is like maybe the right way to say that. You know, they did a bit better job. I have a bookmarked, and I'll try to post it in the Discord later on, I remember. But talking about how that the level of human body matter that's in all of our water supply has actually risen to a point in which it is going to have effects on people, because so many abortions happen in the home and they flush it down the toilet that circulates into our water supply. And so that's been happening at such a high rate for such a long time now, that there is a percentage in everybody's drinking water of human matter. Like, I mean, like literal, like dead children. And like that was like a wild thing to think about too, because you realize that it's a thing. Like people they flush it away, right?
Right.
And there's not really like a filtering process. It was a very, very disturbing conversation to listen to. I just happened to see it by chance. If I remember it, I'll post it in the Discord.
Right. Just me. She posted this in the Discord a while back, and I've been meaning to mention it, so thanks for bringing it back up. But Ron DeSantis is working on getting a bill on the ballot to change the Constitution in Florida so it's illegal for us to have to pay property taxes anymore. How awesome is that? That is awesome. Property taxes are really stupid. And let's see here. She also followed up and said, let's abolish income tax, property tax, and the death tax. Amen to that. Amen to that.
All of them. Just fire the government.
All right.
Get out. Don't need a president. Make it the Wild West again.
We need a federal government to help secure our borders and initiate trade deals with our foreign adversaries or allies. But that's about it. It ends right there. You know what I mean? I don't think we need any kind of federal laws or anything like that.
Well, you know, you probably, if any gamers are in the chat, you're probably like me. You know, you give it a couple years, you play through Red Dead 2 again because it's just such a phenomenal game. And you just get that feeling of like, I wish I was born in this time period. But also, if anyone's seen that Netflix series, it's like American Primeval, and that explains a bit about the Mormon conflict that happened like the 1800s, I believe, some period around then. Can't remember. But it was when the Mormons were like militarized, and they did a bunch of crazy stuff in like Utah. And it just makes you just realize like there is no what's the word? There's like no kind of like federal overhanging group. They're far away. So if the federal government wanted to act, it's like you're gonna have to wait days for them to send troops from like, you know, the District of Columbia or wherever they're stationed at the time to come out and do something. It's like the highest level of government's just the sheriff in town. You get past him, you're good. You just robbed a bank, you're good.
Yeah.
They're trying to catch me tonight. I'm not doing it though.
I know. I'm laughing at the comments. Oh, that's good. That's good. let's see here. So let's move on here to Trump urges Elon Musk for greater aggressiveness. And let's see, is there a change in the poly market? I'm going to refresh this. So poly market is tracking how much Doge has actually saved us. It's still at 55 billion, so no change from the last show. But here we got former President Donald Trump publicly encouraged Elon Musk to adopt a more aggressive stance, suggesting that their actions are aligned with the goal of improving the country. This interaction was highlighted across social media platforms, with Musk responding positively to Trump's call for increased aggression, though the specific areas where Musk might become more aggressive were left unspecified. The discourse around this event includes various interpretations ranging from political support to potential business moves. So we got this post yonder. This is Donald Trump posting. I think he posts most of the time on True Social, and then sometimes he'll post on X itself, but most of the time it comes off on True Social, and then somebody will screenshot it and put it on X. But Elon is doing a great job, but I would like to see him get more aggressive. Remember, we have a country to save, but ultimately to make greater than ever before, MAGA. And then Elon Musk responded, and he said, "Will do, Mr. President." So it's nice to see this open, like, I mean, he didn't have to say this. He could have just texted Elon and be like, "Yo, I need you to pick up the pace and be a little bit more aggressive." And we wouldn't have known any difference, right? Instead, I love this public discourse. President literally communicating with the leader of Doge and seeing the government actually kind of work. You know what I mean? Usually we see people get subpoenaed into a congressional hearing. Every congressman gets their 5 minutes to yap, and half of them, you know, whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans, if they agree with the person and what they're doing, either half of them shit all over the person the whole time, and the other half give them props, and it ends up being nothing. You know what I mean? And Donnie's making me laugh. And this one is just, you see the president literally saying, "Hey, I need you to pick up the pace, do better. This is our goal." And then person respond and say, "Done, getting it done for you." I love this.
I think we need to put it in Elon's ear to start pushing for the abolishment of the ATF.
Yeah, hopefully they get that. They get to that. I think they're heading into Fort Knox next. But I think they should honestly spend a lot more time on the IRS and some of the things that they're already looking into.
I want to see arrests more than anything. I do appreciate all of the cut downs on stuff, but I think more so I would like to see anyone and all who were involved on the fraud being in their favor, as well as those who set it up, being put in prison.
Right. Either that or put them in the stockade and let people throw fruit at them for a couple of days. You know what I mean? Like they used to do. The public shaming.
Maybe back in the day I would have thought that, but just the reality of all the people on January 6th were held for as long as they were without seeing their children for charges that were entirely bunk. It kind of just bothers me that we have American citizens, patriots rather, who have spent more time in prison than any ounce of these politicians who have absolutely destroyed and hollowed out our government. That's what bothers me the most. And I think at that point, to me, if I was in that position, I wouldn't even be pushing for arrest. I'd be pushing for what level of capital punishment is legal? What can I get away with? How hard can I make this sentence? How can I make this such a public spectacle and such a harsh sentence on the individuals who destroyed this? Because it's a downstream effect that affects millions of people. What these people do and get away with.
Right. For the next person that considers going down the same path.
Right. The proverbial gallows, if it will.
Right. Mm-hmm. We know how YouTube treats you if you just say they get what they deserve per the law. Right. They have to take the stream down. So harsh punishments for people who are proven by our justice system to have capitalized personally and off of you know, the hardworking taxpayer, wasting our money, being irresponsible, all that type of stuff. So that's good news, though. You know, I like seeing Trump. I've said multiple times on here, we don't want good enough, we want the best. And Doge has been killing it lately, but I'd like to see Donald Trump out here saying, we need more, we need better, we need faster. And that's right in line with where I'm at on that. And then, of course, oh, we already showed that. Then we got this right here, which is Elon Musk's new policy for federal jobs are at stake. And this is on the heels of a judge saying that Doge actually has the authority to like fire people and stuff like that. Donald Trump, the left has been using that against Donald Trump, saying that, oh, he's doing this and that. And it's really Donald Trump has been following the law. And if a judge says you can't do this, then Donald Trump is not going to do it. He said he would abide by the law. And so, you know, it's a lot of projection from the left, like they always do towards Trump. But a judge came back and said that no, Doge has the authority to fire people. And so Elon Musk, as the head of the Department of Government Efficiency under President Trump, has announced that all federal employees will soon receive an email asking for details of their accomplishments from the previous week. The directive, interpreted from Musk's statement, implies that failure to respond will be treated as an automatic resignation. This policy is part of broader efforts by the Trump administration to enforce accountability and potentially reduce the federal workforce. And this is great. I love this. This reminds me of this scene right here from Office Space. I just got to play it for you. Oh, wait. It didn't pull up the way I wanted it to.
What would you say?
Oh, come on. It's just going to play in this. All right, here, I got to do it like this.
Yeah.
I ruined it because you guys heard it. But if you're Office Space fans, you'll know what I'm talking about.
What would you say you do here? What would you say?
That's where the Bobs come through and cut the fat from the people that aren't actually working. And I thought that was hilarious. It made me immediately I thought of this. If you don't respond to our letter and explain what you do here and what you've done over the last week, we're just going to assume that is an automatic resignation. That's kind of similar to what Elon probably did with X when he removed a bunch of people after he bought it. And he wanted to know what everybody was doing on an individual basis. Like, what's your value and is it worth what we're paying you? And I see that Andrea, thanks for the $8, Andrea. Christ is King, 100%. Thank you so much.
Yep, amen.
I see a few Christ is Kings here in chat. Shauna, just me. Absolutely.
Well, Michael asked the question up a little further about, do we think that AI is going to become God? To which I put, no, there is only one God, and that as Christians, we need to stand strong in our faith no matter what they throw at us.
True.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a big reason why you see even a very hardcore Christian nationalists push back against the transhumanism that Elon Musk actually perpetuates a good bit with things like Neuralink. You also have that other organization that just made the first ever muscle and fiber and flesh stitched bot hooked up to AI as well. If you didn't see that video, it's terrifying to look at. It looks like a meat sack hanging from a butcher house. It's like literally pinned up by the skin on its back.
It looking like the bug on Men in Black when the guy comes and the bug comes and takes the guy's skin.
It's wearing the Edgar suit.
Yeah, the Edgar suit. But I was just
I can't find it.
Okay, but I was gonna say this was what I just read here from Elon Musk in the letter. That was his first response. That came just hours after Donald Trump asked Elon to ramp it up. And so Elon followed up with a post saying, consistent with President Donald Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. So, I mean, he put it out there on X. Everybody knows. And so that look, apparently they got a little bit of time to figure out what they did last week or do some stuff to claim what they did because, you know, I'm sure there'll be some checks and balances. They won't just take everybody for their word on their letter. But to start, and it's some accountability. And we've never heard of anything like this in our lifetime. I never have, as far as government, you know, federal employees being, you know, accountable to their actions for their paycheck, just like the rest of us are. You know what I mean? It reminds me of those videos that were going around right before Elon fired everybody at X of a day in the life of an ex-employee. And she's like, I woke up, and it's got some like lo-fi music playing in the background. It's like, I woke up this morning and had 3 cafe lattes or whatever. Had my cafe latte, went up to the wine machine for lunch and had a wine. Then I had some meetings. And then she goes and like sits on the roof and opens her computer and just like, and you're making $100 and some $1,000 a year. Yeah, you're gonna be fired. and they were, So, you know, if these people want to keep their jobs, you're gonna have to work like the rest of us. You know. So I love it. Then Donald Trump
from Google were just as bad.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Everybody's just kind of retweeting the same thing. But yeah, that's good news. That's more wins for Donald Trump and his administration. I think we're now at 1 month and a day from his inauguration date, and it's probably the best month as far as production, getting things done for the American people that any president has had in quite a long time. So maybe ever. Definitely in my life.
Right.
Let's see here. So I haven't looked at chat for a minute. Let me scroll. Make sure I didn't miss anything. You guys see anything? I don't see any. AI is not AI. Did you guys remember when Joe Rogan suggested that humans to like the next step for humans in the evolution chain would be to be automated or robots or AI or something like that, and that's the true. And I don't know if he suggested it like as a fact, but just like proposed it as a question, like you know, is the next step in evolution AI and you know, like basically Terminator world.
In simulation theory, it's like the last step. You know, the created beings create another created being, and thus begins the simulation all over again. It's
right.
Yeah, the whole like idea of it. We even talked a bit in chat too how there are people like Tim Pool who will go over and beyond to be like, well, I'm definitely not Christian. Like, no, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But here's all the reasons why I believe in intelligent design, and like this stuff definitely had to have been created by somebody. It's like,
yeah, it's like, bro,
what?
Who else would it be than the God that left a Bible and tells you he's the creator?
Right.
It just cracks me up. He's like, there is a God. I do believe in a God. Well, okay.
I've been
Maybe
trying
one of these
to,
days, Seamus will get to him.
Right.
I've been trying to get my doctors to just, you know, rip my brain out and put it into a, you know, become Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Put it in like a jar and attach some wires to it so you can talk through like a
just have a couple
basic,
joysticks.
You know, fax machine from like the 1990s.
Just me said that's one of the things that bothers me about Tim Pool. Yeah, I mean, among some of the other stuff, but that one always like it's super cringe. Like, I don't know, I don't like saying cringe, but it's just so well used at times. It fits the bill. But it's so cringe. It's like, I don't believe in the Christian. I'm not a Christian, but I do believe that we are created by a creator. It's like, okay, who? What?
Right.
The spaghetti
he tries
monster?
He tries to say that he thinks sometimes that we're part of the simulation realm too. That whole.
He goes to snake church.
It would require some conviction on his part. You know, if he was
Right.
to actually move to that position, he would have to jump off the fence that rides in between his parts where the sun don't shine. And he
Right.
would have to actually take pro positions on things that he would otherwise wouldn't have been.
Right. That's true.
Did you see he finally got married?
Yeah, did he get married or did he
yeah.
just have the child?
Yeah, he got married. He was
No,
holding up his wedding ring
married.
a while back.
Okay.
Yeah, so he got married.
I know he stepped away from Timcast for a day because his daughter or son, I don't know which one, was born.
Oh, look, just an hour ago, he actually posted, excited to announce the birth of my and Allison's first child. We are struggling through and need help. The doctor keeps insisting our baby is a girl, but every time we ask they, them, they gurgles or cries. How do we inform the doctor they, them hasn't chosen them's gender yet?
Oh my!
So like that one right there, that's a great post. It's exposing like just the ridiculousness involved in the question. Just exposes like how the ideology from the left is just so ludicrous.
Right?
Yeah.
Hi, Earl's daughter. Welcome in.
Earl's daughter, what's up?
Oh, what's up? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I,
been
was like, I didn't even
forever.
see the chat, but I was like, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's been forever. Good to see you. Thought you forgot about us. Let's see here.
She's been so busy. It
Oh
happened.
yeah. Hopefully busy in a good way. I know you got. I'm
Steve-
pretty sure you had some sick.
Steve, what
sick
frustrates me the most about Christian culture is that people will gravitate to sometimes the loudest, most boisterous voices that they hear who claim to be Christians, but when you dig into their actual theology, they are anything but.
Right.
Right, right.
Well, it's because it's the same way that the conservative theatrics of politics isn't entirely. It's just a grift. It's there's a lot of very willing donors in the Christian space as well as the conservative space. There's a big overlap between those audiences as well too. And that might be the saddest part too. Is it's like at a certain point you would think we're kind of getting similar to like the Democrats. It's like how many times do you have to fall for the same kind of bait and switch for these people? Where you kind of get it through your head that what you're being sold is a false bill of goods. I always think back to that Charlie Barkley quote. I think he was talking about Chicago. Might have been somewhere else, but he's like, bro, we've had Democrat mayors for 80 years, and he's like, and all I've seen is the projects get bigger and bigger. Black side of town couldn't be bigger. And it makes you think it's like you have to just like open your mind up to a bit more than like what you may be perceiving as, and people fall too easily for the fact of like I have a cross, I'm wearing a cross on my necklace. Anything I say is like what a Christian would say. It's like no, there's a bit more to it than that, right? It's a bit more than just wearing the kind of wearing the appearance of it too. You can't wear it like a skin suit, but that's what's effective. Wear Christianity like a skin suit, say whatever you please, and then you move and manipulate and influence people in the wrong direction, and that's ultimately how we get into positions like where we are right now.
Well, I mean, if you need some good examples of such, I mean, Bethel Church is one of the big ones. Hillsong, they sing a couple songs that have a little bit about Jesus and the word in it, but when you dig into it deeper, there's a couple of these churches that the royalties that they get from this actually goes to Planned Parenthood to help pay for abortions. Does that sound like something a Christian should be doing?
Yeah. There's I'm trying to think of I mean, we just saw it with like the recent example with Donald Trump, right? With his inauguration day, and that lady coming out and then using that platform to attack him for immigration and migrants, and actually took away from her, primary responsibility, which was to just simply carry out a very basic tradition of just saying a very basic kind of blessing over the president and leaving it be. And so she turns her position and says something entirely different.
Turns straight activist.
Yeah, being an activist. But that's what I mean. That's what we see a lot.
There was
anyways.
more of it to it than that, though, because it was directly affecting her business side of it.
That's right. She was doing she got paid like $50-some million. A part of
$54
whatever group
million
she was in.
to house 3,000 illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
I'll host a few of them for just a fraction of that. Wait, did I say that out loud? I was just trying to get my cut. Earl's daughter said, "Miss y'all. My rescue dog had 8 puppies between cleaning up poop and homeschooling. I'm done by the end of the day." Well, you're a true champion, and we appreciate you for doing that, because homeschooling takes a lot of work, and cleaning up after 8 puppies pooping everywhere. So yeah, appreciate that.
I did share that one thing I talked about earlier, the AI robot that they put. They call it a musculoskeletal android called Protoclone. And it's
Weird.
got lifelike movements, and it's
So
got
they're gonna
synthetic
use like
muscles.
electricity to like make the muscles move.
Yeah, make sure. I don't know how loud this is, or if there's any sound attached to it here. But I'll go ahead and play it.
Yeah, no. Weird.
Yeah. But
said-
we're making jumps though, like very quick jumps.
Right.
Imagine that running at you at 75 miles an hour.
I picture like the T-1000. That's weird, dude. I don't like it.
Right.
Nope.
Ugh. I don't like that at all.
An abomination against God.
I mean, it's like Frankenstein.
Right.
It's crazy. That is weird. It's a Walking Dead zombie, TNT said. Oh, man.
I would rather fight the zombie than that thing.
Yeah, the zombie you can maybe outrun.
Right, they're kind of slow and dumb.
Outsmart it,
Right.
That thing, you gotta hope.
Kill it with like a fork or something. That drone thing, if I don't have an AR-15 and at least a couple magazines, dude, it's probably getting the best of me.
I mean, it might still anyways, right? I mean, Terminator doesn't stop when you shoot it.
Right.
Especially the second version where it's like the liquid.
Yeah, the T-1000. That dude was so scary. Have you seen this boy?
Yeah, and you get like the what was it from? Maybe I'm thinking of is it Stargate? There's like a recurring enemy in there, like the nanobots, and it's actually like they are like an extremely advanced like AI, but they operate as if like they're these very kind of tiny like little bugs, and they all can make like big structures and like be small and stuff too. But they swarm all inside of you. They're like on your like an atom level. So if like they get near you, they just run through you. You get vaporized in like a second.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know that I agree with that completely, Michael. Some literature maybe, but God's word, the Bible, the meaning is in the literature, not the other way around.
Well, that's why I believe in flat Earth. God created the earth under the firmament, below the waters, and above the waters, right? Something like that. I don't know. I love the flat Earth debate and the rabbit holes, to be honest with you. I root for flat Earth.
There's some crazy stuff out there, that's for sure.
I root for flat Earth. I guess I should elaborate why. I root for flat Earth because it 100% suggests a creator. The conversation of is there a God would no longer exist. It would evolve into which God is the God. And that's obviously what, big government doesn't want us thinking about.
Right. I said that's why I voted for Mel Gibson. Which I think Mel Gibson was made ambassador to Hollywood, right? Isn't that what Trump appointed Mel Gibson to do?
did actually. Yeah, I think you're right. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I like Mel Gibson. He's actually seems to be all right, dude.
He walked in and said, "All right, you Satanist, I want every one of you liberal blue-haired feminazis out
Well,
by 5 p.m."
right. Well, you saw what happened to
He's at
him
the
when he
door.
spoke out against those that shouldn't be spoken against. I mean, it ruined him for 20 years until just recently.
Right.
He finally made an appearance back in a movie. What was that? Daddy's Home 2 or 3 or something like that. He ended up playing Mark Wahlberg's dad. I thought that was pretty good.
Mel Gibson, the original alpha male from Hollywood.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, so they want to make Texas the new Hollywood.
Well, it's funny enough, that's where most of the liberals fled to, over around that Austin, Texas area. In was it 2020 or was it later than that? When we were seeing the mass exodus from people from California into other areas. But they're just voting the same way. It's like, we're not like extremely progressive, but like, I still think kids assign their gender at birth. It's like, dude, go back to California, man.
Earl's daughter said, "I'm trying to think of butterflies and bumblebees. I can't get that zombie thing out of my head." Yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully nobody has nightmares from that. Even myself. That thing was like Hellraiser, freaking Silence of the Lambs stuff right there. Buffalo Bill or whatever his name is on Silence of the Lambs. Puts the lotion on its skin.
Yeah, but while we were on the topic of Christianity, I wanted to go, about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Spend some time on the fact that KASH Patel did not swear in on the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, we put that in the outline, but we forgot to put links in there.
Somebody said something about that's the Hindu Bible.
So it's weird. So it's like Hindu doesn't have like a very, the same kind of structure of literature as what we have in Christianity. In particular, what it is. So it's called the Bag. I always get it wrong. The Bhagavad Gita. And so it's a portion of the scripture. It's a Hindu scripture. But it comes together to form, what is the epic called? Part of the epic called the Mahabharata.
It's a significant Hindu scripture that forms part of the epic Mahabharata and is known for its teachings on Dharma, yoga, and bhakti. Okay.
Yeah.
So interesting. My thing is, if you are sworn into something and it's not the Christian Bible, in my opinion, in America, you're basically not swearing to God. You know what I mean? So then it's like, it's like the meme of RFK Jr. where he swore on a stake. But really, does that matter? Like, you can go back on your oath if you're not swearing in on something like holy, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Give me 1 second here. I got something I'm going to send you in Messenger real quick.
Word.
Oral.
yeah,
I was just gonna say, our Constitution wasn't implied by Hindu values. It was implied by Christian values. So I really don't understand even the point of it. If you were to tell me, it'd be like, like, hey man, like when we're getting confirmed in, can I swear on the Baghdad Gayavad, whatever the heck it's called?
the Dinosaur Encyclopedia. I want to swear in on the Dinosaur Encyclopedia.
Yeah. I'd be like, that's great, man. You're getting deported.
You remember the leftist? The leftist
Country founded on Christian values. Go ahead. Sorry, Chris.
Do you remember the leftist who took their oath on top of a stack of the the kids stuff about the trans books? You remember that? Two years ago?
I'm not surprised by it though, but the same case, I'd be like, hey, it's awesome, dude. Your citizenship has been revoked.
Right.
We'll see you at the Mexican border in a few hours. If you're not there, we'll drag you by your hair.
Right. This country was founded on Christian values. We'd like for you to swear on the book that, Christian values revolves around. Plain and simple.
Right. Well, imagine
Although, and I'm not trying to like rag on Kash Patel because I think he's the right guy for the job. It's just weird. It's tone deaf. I don't know.
well, very tone deaf. That's what I was getting ready to say.
Well,
It sends a message.
Well, a
the thing I
message
just
like he
sent
doesn't care
you,
about Christianity.
the thing I just sent you in your PMs on Discord, Laurel,
Yeah.
goes into that whole thing.
So where does the phrase come from? It comes from one brief letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote. Government should not interfere in such matters. So at the end of a very long sentence in which Jefferson affirms his conviction that religious belief should be a private matter and that the government should not interfere with such matters, he uses the phrase building a wall of separation between church and state, and that's where the phrase lost in Jefferson's voluminous correspondence for almost 150 years. And so how does that apply? I'm sorry?
Just how our foundation of the country, what by the founding fathers, was built on the moral foundation of the Bible and Christianity.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right, which it means it's nonsensical. If you didn't want to swear on the Bible, that's fine. Like I mean, it's not fine. I think maybe the better route would have been like, you want to do what? That's
Right.
fine. They'd be like, okay, we're not going to give you the Baghdadi. If you want to do that in your spare time afterwards, I guess that's fine. But we're going to hold the Bible there. If you don't want to put your hand on it, that's fine. But we want to make sure that's aired and the American people know that you refuse to do that.
Right.
I mean,
the
it's
imagery
like
that we're going to, the image that we want to present is that you swore on the Holy Bible.
Well,
just the imagery of it.
Well, think about, no, you're good. I didn't interrupt you. But you said tone deaf earlier. One of the biggest things, the two biggest things really, I think the most practical thing is we're not getting mass deportations. But the second thing is the fact that the current socioeconomic environment for most people is to not only, especially for white men, is to hate themselves, but beyond that is to hate the idea of what America is. And we're worried about the fact that no one's assimilating. We don't have one shared culture. The lack of homogeneity between anything, any kind of anything, whether it is just between race and creed, and then religion too. And then this guy comes in, head of the FBI, is like, you know what, I'm actually going to pray on this Hindu Bible that has literally no root to our country at all.
It carries no weight to the American foundation.
Our founding fathers would have just shot him. They'd have been like,
right.
dude, you believe in some demonic garbage. Like, we thought you were good for the job and you got this far just to do this to us, dude. Like, you can see your way out or we'll force you out. I mean, like, that's how they would have played it. And I tried to point this out to people earlier as well. If our founding fathers were here, dude, there would be so much blood on the ground. It would be wild. It would be wild.
Right. But this is where Andrew Wilson talks about, we need the Christian nationalist perspective from like a cultural standpoint, where when like Kash Patel would go and try to do this, the general consensus from the majority of the public would be like, the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? And he would be shamed for doing this, and not just from a few people like us just talking about it right now. It would be the general consensus from the public. You'd have the right and the left both agreeing, like, what are you doing, dude? This is the Christian United States of America. What is that? And so, and that's the way that I'm seeing things a lot more lately.
Because that would have been one of the socially, both parties would have been a lot closer aligned. It would have been on like economic policy where they would have differed, like deciding between taxes and such. But the left and the right would have both been like, oh yeah, we go to church, like, we do believe in God, our values are implied by God. Nowadays, everything is entirely detached. The opposition on both sides for everything, socially and economically, and everything that falls in between there too.
Right. You can see the degenerate downfall of the country at this point because of that.
Yeah.
Right.
House says separation of church and state was to keep the government out of the church. We had just seceded from England and their interference in the church of England. Yeah, definitely. So they didn't want the government involved in the church. And then, that got subverted into, we don't want the church and the government, which was the complete opposite of what it was actually founded as. We wanted the schools, because they try to keep Christianity out of schools, and you always hear about the gym or the football coach or the gym teacher that got fired or is being heavily scrutinized because he wanted to pray with his football team after the game or whatever, and it's like, that's actually not what separation of church and state is. It's
Right.
the opposite. It was intended for religion to be a part of the curriculum, essentially, the way it was founded.
Well, I always think too, just kind of like even like hypotheticals, but I think pretty often, say the best thing occurs, right? And I did enough, and God says, I did know you, and I get through those gates, and then I see all of the men from thousands of years ago, my ancestors, some of which I'll probably never, really know their names here on earth, but probably were the reason why I was born, and look them in the eyes and be like, you guys sacrificed so much for our country and to preserve our religion, your beliefs. And then you see, like as Donnie's saying here too, people are just so worried about being respectful for other people. I think it's just a shame. It's like these guys literally were getting attacked and demolished during the Crusades period, as well as everything that led up to the Revolutionary War. And to carry those principles took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
And if the farthest that you can go is like, right, real skin in the game. And if the farthest that you can go is like, well, like I don't want to offend them. It's like, I can't. Me personally, I can't live with that. It's like everyone who came before me was willing to literally put like go meet their maker for the things they believed in. And so to me, it's like that's like the bare minimum. It's like if you don't have that level of conviction, it's like, well, like I'm sorry, but you're not even on the same level of the people who made this country.
Right.
Like I have a hard time respecting it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's partially. Just as we talk about how, the illegals coming across the southern border and they're not assimilating, and then Kash Patel gets up there and basically doesn't assimilate and swears on this weird thing that's not like it's not a part of our culture. It's bad form. It's bad form. Unfortunate that he did that. I lost a lot of respect, or a little bit of respect, for Kash for making that decision. But TNT mentioned earlier that it is, if it's something that's personal to him, that could hold him more accountable than swearing on a Bible. But that's just not the way that I want. And it's a good point, but that's just not the way that I want to see the country move to, right? I want us to move back more towards a stronger Christian based culture, right?
Yeah, would have been funny had like they let him get that far through the confirmation, and then he goes to do that, and they just start laughing at him, and they're like, "You're deported," and then Matt Gaetz walks through the other door, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm back. I'm ready to do it." Like,
right, I'll do it.
Yeah, right.
That would have been pretty funny, actually. That would have been really funny. And then the Democrats still would have figured out a way to complain, even though they hate Kash Patel.
Right.
So, with that, I think we should probably just wrap up there. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. We didn't get through all of our topics, but we got through the main ones. The things that we didn't mention was, I do want to play this one video before we wrap up. It's only 30 seconds long, but this is big news. There's so much news coming out that stuff gets drowned out. And we want this one to to hit the ground running ASAP, and that is that Pam Bondi just said the Epstein list is on her desk, and released the list and exposed the criminals. And so let's hear from Pam Bondi.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files. And
Okay, so they play music with that. So I'm only gonna play that little portion, but you guys get the point. They always gotta put music on some stuff, right? But you saw it right there, out of the Attorney General's mouth. Much the best Attorney General so far in her tenure than we've had under, at the last 8 years, pretty much, even probably further back. But I wasn't paying so close attention during the Obama thing. But I mean, we've already seen her shut off funding to sanctuary cities and states, and now we're a Pam Bondi signature away from seeing the infamous Epstein list, for which Ghislaine Maxwell is locked up for trafficking people to youngsters to adults. Yet we don't know who those adults are. So let's find out, and let's rip that Band-Aid off and let's get her going, right? I think we all can agree on that one. And there's a Diddy list. We want to also find out about the JFK files. We also want to find out about the MLK files, which I'm less interested in with that one. Just
I'm more
because
interested in the RFK files over the MLK ones.
I feel like the assassination of a president and the protection of trafficked individuals are more important than the MLK one, which
Yeah. Well,
we've gone
in all
down
reality-
the MLK rabbit trail before, and we'll not revisit it. But
Right. Well, government works for us, man. Give me my papers. I
Right.
don't care what you want to do with them. Give
Right.
me my papers. I want to
Yeah.
know.
I don't want a bunch of redacted bull crap. I don't want one name redacted. If one name is redacted on that list, Democrats are going to say it was Donald Trump. So just put them all out there. Do not redact anything. We don't want any fodder to the left. We understand the landscape, and let's just put it all out there. I mean, hell, even if it was Donald Trump, let's find out, because I'm not in this. Got to protect Trump at all costs. If he was doing those type of things, so
Right.
Nope.
Exactly.
yeah. And so, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, which I know you guys did, make sure you're hitting that like button. Also want to remind you guys that Chris has a channel. You can go check him out. It's spelled the same as what you see here on the screen. Atlas has a channel as well. If you're watching on America First TV, go check out Atlas Thugged. Both guys are trying to track down that 1,000 sub mark. Atlas is really close. So any help you can do by subscribing would be huge.
Yes.
And
Very
then, of
much
course,
so.
if you're on Atlas's channel, come over and check out America First TV, which is mine. And also subscribe, check out my daily videos. And I want to remind you guys to check out the one that I just put out about Tim Pool. It was a good debate, and it was entertaining. It was informative. And I actually had somebody message me while we were live saying, hey, that was a good find. I really enjoyed that video. So I don't get very many of those direct messages. you know what I mean? So check that one out. And make sure you guys join the Discord. I want to see Steve in the Discord, and I want to see Michael in the Discord. You guys have been called out.
Even when I stay awake, they're saying I'm making them sleepy. What the hell, man?
Peer pressure. We love you, Chris. You're doing good work over there, and we know you got up early and it's late. So
Hey, thank you all for letting me come on and talk about the foundation. We appreciate it.
yeah,
and,
man.
yeah, hopefully we can work together and do some good stuff.
Yeah, click the link in the description to check out Chris's foundation. Keep an eye on it as we it progresses and develops, and we'll have Chris on again. So we'll remind you of it in the future as well.
Yeah.
Give you the updates, what's going on, and all that stuff. As always, excuse me, Christ is King. We have the best chat on YouTube, in my opinion. I thank so many of you guys for showing up every show, and welcome all the new people. I hope to see you guys again. Atlas, do you have any final words?
No, just read what you said. Christ is King, ban woman, and deport cash. And thanks for tuning in.
Love it. All right, we'll see you guys on Monday.
Peace, y'all. Take care. Thanks.
Later.
Let's roll rolling Atlas Thug. We here to bring the truth. Jar open this podcast. We breaking through the fake news. They try to silence us, but we will be subdued. We're bearded alpha males here to save the youth. Spitting fire on the mic with the bass Christian takes. Exposing the lies, keeping the demons at bay. We ain't afraid to speak up, we won't be swayed. Jar open this podcast where the truth is laid. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas Thug, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. We ain't playing games, we're on a mission to awaken the masses with our intuition. Pulling out the corruption with no inhibition. Jar open this podcast, sparking a revolution. We're not afraid to stand tall in a world full of deceit. We're the voice of reason, bringing light to the street. Keeping it real, never missing a beat. Jar open this podcast where the truth meets the heat. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas Thug, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. Jar open this podcast where the truth will never cease. Join us on the journey to bring back peace. We're rolling Atlas Thug, fearless in our release. Jar open this podcast where the lies will decrease.